Today we have something special. This is the original Sims, circa 2000, no expansions. This is something I've wanted to do for quite a while. I'm really into the original Sims aesthetic. I think it's really interesting to see what was going on in the year 2000 and to see how cohesive this game is, and it's truly foundational and something that I adore. I played so much of the original Sims. I think I had every expansion. I had Making Magic, I had Superstar, Hot Date, Living Large. I was really into the original Sims, and I've played every generation of The Sims. I have The Sims 4 on my computer right now, but no expansion packs. So I've really wanted to make this series for a while where I just play the original Sims. And this is actually much easier said than done. Installing the original Sims is quite some work to do, so I tapped in Kanan, who helped a bit with audio in previous episodes. He set this up to play on his computer, and that's how we have this footage here today. This original Create a Sim is pure nostalgia, just clicking between the outfit choices and the head choices. It's hilarious to think how limited the options were and just how frequently I would pick the same exact thing over and over again, because when you're a child, I guess you're just kind of picky about stuff. But now that I'm older and I have a more distinguished palette, it's fun to be able to click through and see it and recognize, oh hey, these different avatar options are actually really strong. I'm probably a little bit more amused than I should be that when you add the personality traits in Comic Sans nonetheless, that's something I totally forgot about, is that it changes your horoscope, which is hilarious because I don't care about that at all, but I know that so many people strongly do, and I believe that this did persist in The Sims for a while, which is interesting because that's a whole subculture that they actively chose to address the concept of a horoscope. That's neat. I don't actually know how these personality traits affect the characters in play, but I had a good time building this one out to be generally just a very nice girl. Karen is a nice, playful, outgoing girl. Let me do a quick introduction of who Karen is. So Karen is a character that Ken and I workshopped for a little while. She's just like a very nice, pleasant girl. She works in an office. She's very actively friendly, has probably a conservative upbringing, and she's very basic, has simple desires in life, comforts. That's what she's all about. You know, she really cares about Starbucks. That is who Karen is, and that is the Karen I'm making today. To this day, I really like to have notification 0 across all my sites. So as a child, I would always play through the tutorial when I reinstalled The Sims. And hey, in the year 2000, you would be reinstalling The Sims pretty often, right? I mean, at least in my house, it was an activity I did with some regularity. So I don't know if I didn't know that you could skip it, but skipping it here was a choice for me. Our leading lady, Karen King, purchased 9 Sim Lane for 3,500 simoleons, which in this economy is a steal. And that gives us 16,500 simoleons to build her house with. This plot is very flat and only has a couple of trees on it, and it's actually on a street corner, which is something that I would probably avoid in real life, but she's a Sim, she doesn't care about traffic. Also, it's a square neighborhood. She is at the worst part of the neighborhood for traffic reasons. It's right at the bottleneck. Everyone who goes in and out of the neighborhood has to pass her house, but I don't think she's gonna be too bothered by the noise. In order to mitigate this, we're gonna put her house kind of in the back of the lot, in the back corner, as far removed from the street as possible. When I was younger and I would build sim houses, they were always just basically rectangles on top of rectangles, and I'm a sophisticated woman now, so we're gonna try to do some more organic shapes. And I don't know if it's in the original Sims, but I know in later Sims, there's the tip that Sims like rooms with lots of corners in them. So while building this house, I'm gonna keep in mind having something with a more interesting shape. The older I get, the more interested in architecture I become, and I'm a huge fan of McMansion Hell, But even more than that, the thing that really helped reignite my interest in The Sims was I came across this Tumblr blog called Fake Houses Real Awesome. And in this blog, the writer, she designs sim houses with custom content, and they're absolutely beautiful. So when I'm building this, I'm trying to keep in mind that I can go outside of the box and I can make stuff that actually looks pretty cool while still being true to the original Sims aesthetic. When I'm designing the layout of this house, I really want to keep in mind the flow of activity, right? When you're coming home with groceries, how much do you want to have to carry them through the house? What kind of lighting design should the house have? These type of things are what I'm keeping in mind, because designing the exterior of the house is going to have actually a big effect on how it looks. And those things, like where you put the doors, do you put it directly in a corner, or do you leave a space between the corner and the door? And in the option of the front door, I decided to leave a space, and I wanted to put windows on either side. Just a preference. In real life, I prefer for there to be either a window on the door or next to the door, just so you know what's going on when you go up to open it. It also usually is a good idea to let light in from wherever that point is. The first room that I'm designing is, to me, the most important room as far as placement goes, and this is the bedroom. Now, I am putting this as far from the street as possible. It's in the backmost portion of the lot. This would be the quietest place for a bedroom, and I'm also designing where the bathroom will go adjacent to it. And this is always a tricky thing to do, because when you're designing the layout of a house, you want the bathroom to be accessible to guests, but then you also want it to be accessible to you at all times, including the middle of the night. So I want it to be right next to the bedroom. And this, I honestly think this is one of the most important parts of the house. The bedroom has exposed brick walls, which would be a major selling point in any structure, any place ever, according to me. I live in a beautiful brick apartment right now, and it's fantastic even though there are no exposed brick walls. But I gave my girl Karen some because she has okay taste, I guess. Karen has a few windows in her bedroom, which is so important to get that natural light early in the morning when you're trying to wake up. It does so many good things for you to be able to have that much light in the morning. Flooring is another one of those things that I'm so embarrassed to admit that when I was a kid, I was so into blue carpet. I don't know why. I guess I just thought it looked just so comfortable. But now I'm just like, we need different flooring for different rooms. This is a different setting. You need to get a different vibe, and the floor does that somehow. I'm actually really excited to customize this place so hardcore with these different options, because even though this is such an early game, they really thought it out. Like, they really consulted what design looked like previously and at the time. Like, you have concrete as choices, you have black and white tile as choices, you have various tile choices, and you have hardwood choices. It's really neat to see how contemporary it is, but also how time capsule it is. This game does use Comic Sans as its primary typeface, and I know when I was younger, when I was in college taking graphic design classes, for the longest time I thought Comic Sans was the worst thing ever. And then I learned that type is a tool to communicate information, and that Comic Sans has many really great uses besides communicating with children in classroom settings, like helping dyslexic people read easier. And I know that there are other typefaces that accomplish that goal, but there are many people who are accustomed to using Comic Sans. And so when I see it nowadays, it doesn't really bother me, but there was a time in my life where it would have. So it's interesting to see it here and to think about how normal it was in 2000 to see it somewhere. I'm doing my best to remain mindful of my budget when I'm placing doors and windows, because while they are very important, I still need to fully furnish this home, and there was no intention to use any cheats like Rosebud to do that. I mean, my girl Karen, she's not a trust fund baby, you know, she has college loans. She has no job at the moment. I don't even know how she got this house on her last couple of thousands of dollars. So we have to do what we can to fit her budget. You know, this isn't House Hunters International. This is Karen's real life, okay? And she needs this to be perfect. And she is moving into what will be a fully furnished home that will be furnished by me, ultimately. And just like that, we've basically moved from the construction portion of the project and we are ready to start furnishing the house. So I'm pretty happy with the flooring choices. That's aesthetic as heck. A lot of the wall choices, the door choices, and the window placement. We'll see how that evolves as I play for a little bit in the next video. Transitioning now into meta conversation, the last effort I'm going to do on this video is try to patch in some of the original music. I did have an audio track that I recorded as I played, however, I had to remove it. It was very fuzzy and it had additional voice contributed that I removed, so I hope you guys like this. The next video, the tone will probably be a little bit different as she starts her job and we actually play the game, which I'm really into. I love that. Thank you guys for all the birthday wishes and I will see you next time. Bye!